Dude, look, and it also has Hyrule Warriors, Hyrule Warriors Legends, and then Hyrule Warriors Maybe let's make one of those Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never played. Oh, it's Hyrule Legends, the one on 3DS. That's what it is.
yeah, I honestly don't understand why they did that.
I
Like,
mean, they're just
there's 3 of them. That makes 0 sense. Like, just make them. I mean, they are different games, but they're not. Like, they don't have like Ocarina of Time 3D on here, do they?
they put Picross.
They
Yeah,
they
they did.
do. They do. Okay.
Yeah,
Well.
they got the 3D ones. I mean,
Oh wow.
honestly, we gotta rank them. I think. Wait, where's Ocarina of Time 3D? Oh yeah, there it is. I see it. Oh wait, I gotta pull up your stream too. Are you still there?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm doing one last thing.
You're so quiet.
Am I?
Well, like when you're not talking.
Oh yeah. I mean that makes sense.
Whoa, I see you, bro.
You see me, dude?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You're lying.
No, I do. You look good, man.
Thanks, bro. All right. Okay, that's it for me. That's all she wrote. Okay, we're good. What's up, dude? I'm here with Johnny. We're gonna do a Zelda tier list because we just wanted to. So.
Hell yeah.
Dude, yeah, out of nowhere, we're doing a Zelda tier list because we were talking about our favorite Zeldas. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna stream this. It doesn't make no sense. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. I gotta get some music in here because it is really quiet. Okay, we're just gonna do
You say Zelda 2 is F tier.
No.
But
No.
Do you realize how much it did for the series? For the franchise?
Dude, I could never put Zelda 2 down. I'm biased against Zelda 2, honestly.
You like it?
I love it.
I think it's amazing too. I have not gotten very far in it.
I'm just not realizing, but this tier list is gonna like trigger people.
Yeah, dude, like, Triforce Heroes S tier. Triforce Heroes S tier.
Dude, you're getting really okay.
Dude, oh shit, this is gonna be crazy. All right. No, but seriously, I actually love Triforce Heroes. I truly okay. Wait, sorry. Let's get organized. Where are we starting from? I'm just gonna go down how they have it, like Breath of the Wild, then Triforce Heroes.
Yes, right. Okay. Let's save the spicy ones for last, dude. There's gonna be some writing. Okay, dude. Okay.
Link's Awakening.
Wait. Okay, let's start off.
Link's Awakening DS or DX or Link's
Hold on. Let's just hold on. Okay. Let's start with A Link to the Past. Okay. This is the classic. Okay. I just feel like this one's kind of tame. Okay.
Wait, whoa! You're gonna trigger me.
Wait, what? No. I'm not putting it in C. I'm just putting it on the list. Okay. Like I'm just saying, let's start with this. It's not in C. Okay. All right. So, Link to the Past. Where would you put it? What are your thoughts?
Okay. Truly, I would put it up into S tier because, not SS. I'd put it into S.
Okay.
Because it is probably the 2D Zelda that I feel like pioneered the way for what we know as Zelda. And this is obviously very biased because when I think of Zelda, I think of Ocarina of Time, where you've got the Light World and the Dark World. And Link to the Past pioneered that formula, which I love so well. It carried on over into, well, not Majora's Mask, but like Wind Waker a little bit, Twilight Princess, big time. You get like the two sides of the temples, which I've always loved.
Yeah. No, the Dark World's honestly one of the coolest things to me, and like ever. So I would put this S tier, like easy. To me, but it's not the best. There's better Zelda games, but it is up there, and I think
for its time and what it did for the franchise.
Yes, absolutely. It's weird because like what I like out of Zelda games is kind of like Link to the Past is kind of the epitome of it, you know? Like,
Mhm.
so I don't know, dude. And I didn't play it like first. Like it's weird. The order I played these in was crazy. Like I probably went like Ocarina of Time first and Majora's Mask, and then I like played Wind Waker, and then I played like Minish Cap, and then I played like the Oracle games, and then I played A Link to the Past. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a weird order.
Skewed.
Yeah. Okay. You pick next. Which one do you want to do?
Whoa, wait, can we do it like that?
Sure. Well, like which one do you want to talk about next?
Mm,
Like you bring one to the table, I'll bring one to the table.
okay. Let's do Triforce Heroes.
Triforce Heroes. Okay. Where is it?
Yeah, I want to talk about
Right
that
here,
game.
right
It's,
here.
right next to Breath of the
Yes.
Wild.
Where
Alright.
are you putting this one?
Dude. So, for me, truly, genuinely, okay. Alright. Actually, I'd probably put it B or C.
Okay,
I know-
really?
I know- I
You
know I
were
came in
saying it was
strong.
like the best.
I came in strong. The reason why I think
You were
is
saying it was
such a
like the
good game-
best ever.
The reason why I think a lot of people would put it down into D. I would probably keep it in B. B or well, yeah. I absolutely love the music in it. I love the style of it. I love the co-op. Four Swords Adventures is one of my favorite things.
Yes.
I've always loved playing Four Swords Adventures. I haven't played through Four Swords, even though we tried a bajillion times.
Yes.
But I love the co-op Zelda games, and I think Triforce Heroes does it the best. I love just the quirkiness of all the characters in the game. It's just so fun to me, and all the promotional art was awesome. It's actually a game that I feel like I did get. The only time I played it was with you, Trev, that one time.
Yeah. Wait, really?
One
That
night.
one time?
It's the
Okay.
one time I played it, and I've
Wow.
been obsessed with it. Yeah, I've been obsessed with it since. So, anyways, I
So-
think I would put it B.
So, okay. So I have a lot to say about this game because I completed it. I completed it completely.
Let me hear.
Like I literally did everything there is to do. So there's something. Okay, I'll get into that later. But like the game itself is really good. Really good game. Super polished. Great music. Like the custom outfits and like having all of those different abilities is like such a cool thing. In fact, the barbarian armor that's in Breath of the Wild is from Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, okay.
There's so many cool things about it, right? Like you could play the way you wanted to play. Did you want to, like, cause like there was like cactus armor that had like thorns damage. There was bombs armor that made you like, I don't know. There were so many different armor sets that you could express yourself with. And the co-op was so thought out. Like every level was very well designed. But
Right.
the
Yeah.
problems in the game arise when you don't have friends to play with, because you needed 3 copies to play it. And you needed 2 other friends with 3DSs and those copies
in
to
time.
be able to do that. So the problem of the game relied on, like, it wasn't that long, and it, like, you had to have all of that stuff come together, and that's kind of the same problem that Four Sword Adventures has. It's like so hard to actually make it happen and play through the whole thing, right? I was lucky enough to have 2 other people that wanted the same thing I did, right? But there was a lot of people that probably got the game and didn't have friends to play it with, and it just ended up being a terrible experience because the single player is honestly not that fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it can be fun in its own right, but it's almost like playing a different game, and it's not nearly as fun as like mobbing around with 2 of your buddies, you know. So I think I would put it in B because I feel like it has a lot of good things going for it, but it also has a lot holding it back. So it's like,
Cool.
and my biggest gripe with the game, weirdly enough, is that in A Link Between Worlds, that Link is supposed to be the same Link in Triforce Heroes. It just bothers me so
That's
much
stupid. I didn't know
because
that.
I'm like, it's Toon Link, and this has
Right,
nothing to
completely
do.
different.
It has nothing to do with Link Between Worlds. But
Right.
like in the freaking lore, it's like this is the same Link as in like A Link Between Worlds, which doesn't make any sense to me. So that's just a little thing. I'm not really counting that on its score. But thank you for the
Alright.
posture check. And okay, let's read some of these. Tears of the Kingdom is coming. We will rate that. There are these Game & Watch games at the bottom. We're probably going to use those to rate Tears of the Kingdom, even though I'm not finished with it yet. So it's kind of early for that. And then do Four Sword Adventures, dude. Do you want to do Four Sword Adventures next? Since
Yeah,
we're
let's do it. Let's talk about it.
okay.
Four Swords Adventures, bro. Okay, so the time that I played it the most was when for the Ambassador program. Do you remember that on the 3DS? Because I bought the 3DS first came out.
Yes. Yes.
And then they're like, "Yo, we're gonna dock it like $100," and I was like, "What?" And then they gave people who
Yes.
bought it for like the that price, a bunch of games. So that's when I played it the most.
So wait. That's the one on the 3DS was Four Swords.
Oh, my
We,
bad.
like, see this one, which is different
Four Swords
from
Adventures was the one on the
Four
GameCube.
Swords Adventures.
I get those
Yes.
mixed up. My bad.
Yeah, it
My
is.
bad.
It is confusing. It is confusing, but they are very different games. In fact, I would
Yes.
say Four Sword Adventures, weirdly enough, is closer to A Link to the Past than it is like any other Zelda game. It is probably 80 to 90% A Link to the Past multiplayer, with that 10% like Wind Waker kind of like shoved in there, in terms of like when people explode and like the way Phantom Ganon looks, and of course how Link looks
Yeah.
and sounds. That's all Wind Waker, but the rest of the game is actually all assets from Link to the Past.
Link
It's
to the Past.
kind of
Like
crazy.
or Blue Maiden Village. Or
Yes, like a lot of the
Yes,
music, a
Technico.
lot of the animations, like all of the freaking items that you pick up. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry. Four Swords Adventures.
Yes, back to Four Swords.
My experience with that game actually is just trying to play it with you and never getting past Blue Maiden Village. So I can't have much of an opinion on it.
Dude,
'Cause
Blue
it
Maiden
suffers-
Village.
It probably suffers from more of like you gotta like now, right? More of an issue of like you gotta like have the exactly right circumstance
Yeah.
in order to play the game, because like
Yeah,
nobody has it on the GameCube anymore. Nobody has 4 Game Boy Advances like
right.
with Link
I mean,
cables.
yeah.
Except for you.
I'm fortunate enough to have.
Yeah.
I have like 6 SPs and
Yeah.
enough cords, because over the years, me and Trev like to keep up with that stuff. But
Yeah. It's so
freaking
inaccessible. So I love the time that I had in it. I thought it was great. I'll be honest, I think I like Four Swords more than Four Swords Adventures.
really,
Mm-hmm.
really, that's so interesting.
But like I
Because
said,
I don't know
like
if you
a bunch of
remember,
Four
because
Swords
I'm trying to think back to Four Swords while we're talking about it, like the original. And the good thing about this game is that it came with the Link to the Passport on Game Boy
Yes.
Advance.
Mhm.
So it was kind of accessible, right? There was a lot of people that had that game, and I think you only needed one. Don't quote me on that. I think I just remember it being
needed
easy.
more.
It was really easy to
Oh,
play it.
wait. Maybe you didn't. Just me and Chris didn't have any friends with Game Boy Advances, so we couldn't really we couldn't play it when he
Yeah.
had the Game Boy game.
But it was really good, but it was like very short. It's kind of like playing Nintendo Land. You know, it's like you sit down and you play it for a little bit,
Mhm.
and then you forget about it. So I can't ever put it above Four Sword Adventures, because that game's like full campaign. It's actually incredible if you're willing to sit down and do it.
Cool.
My only problem with it is that it turned Zelda into a mission-based game. So like Luigi's Mansion 2S, where it's like every level is like it's just like it gets from point A to point B, and that's pretty much it. You know, like you're playing Mario 3D World, but it's Four Sword Adventures, you know. So it's a lot of the aspects I like about Zelda are missing from it, because you're not actually able to freely roam and like get new abilities and then carry those into the next level. Everything you do in Four Sword Adventures levels does not carry to the next level, right? It's all self-contained. So I don't know. I feel like I'd keep Four Sword Adventures at B. How do you feel about that?
No, yeah, I don't think I could have much of an opinion on
'Cause
it. From what I
yeah.
played, it was awesome.
It's an incredible game, but it's definitely like not one of the best. And I would say Four Swords, the original, I'd put down to like C, because it's good.
Okay.
If you're okay with this, if you have any rebuttals,
No,
dude,
I don't.
get
I
in
honestly
there.
don't. Yeah,
Okay.
no, this
So
is great.
okay. Next up, bro. Let's get wild. We're gonna get wild in here, dude. Freaking. We're gonna do freaking. Where is it? We're gonna do freaking Phantom Hourglass.
Oh, that's up near the top. Yeah, bro. Phantom Hourglass, A tier.
Really? Oh
Here's the
my!
thing, here's the thing, here's the
No
thing.
way, dude.
Here's the thing.
No way.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't agree with this.
Bro,
I can't.
know what you're
I
gonna say.
can't do it.
I know what everybody's gonna say. It's the Temple of the Ocean King. All right. I'm gonna call bullshit on all your fucking little like tripes about the Temple of the Ocean King. Yeah, sure, it's not a great part of the game. It's probably the worst part of the game. But if you take that out,
What are you left with?
you're left with awesome exploration with Linebeck, my guy, and you roam around. You get cool ship customization. Okay,
No.
wait. I would be okay to put it in B tier. Okay, whoa. Listen, you play a
No, dude,
game.
it's so
Oh no,
bad.
dude, everybody left when I said that. Oh no.
Bro, we're not here for them. We're here for us and our
No,
freaking Zelda opinions.
Bro, listen. Okay, so you get really cool touch controls where you're swiping your stylus. That's so fun. The items all felt really fun to me, right? Like you get like your boomerang where you draw a thing or whatever.
Yes.
The music is really good. It was Toon Link, which was exciting for me when I was like a kid. But then also you get really cool story moments where you get to the end and like Linebeck is like possessed by Bellum. And you get like this perspective shift. And one of the bosses, right? I'm pretty sure this is Phantom Hourglass, where you throw the bombs into the tornadoes, and you have your 2DS screens where the boss is on the top screen. It felt very very much like physical and like very fun in that way. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I would settle for B tier.
Dude, I have a lot of problems with this game.
Would you put it in D?
I think the sailing was really not fun.
Okay.
And that was debatably half the playtime was sailing around.
Okay.
So that's a thing. Temple of the Ocean King definitely has a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
Like it's not the worst, you're right. It's not the worst. There was actually some cool moments I had in it. But it also, some of my worst moments were in there. And then I actually never beat the game because my file got erased. So that stuff you're talking about with Lineback, I actually have never experienced it. And I'm kind of salty because I played through the whole game, like 100%ed it. And all I had was the last boss left and my file somehow got erased.
Oh, no.
So
Dude, yeah, that
really
last boss
bummed out.
is sick.
But I also don't think, I don't think the touch controls are where it's at. I really don't. Like they worked and at the time it was cool. Kind of like how it did with Skyward Sword or whatever, right? Like it was the thing. But if you go back and try to play it, it's like, especially after playing A Link Between Worlds, it's like, why? Why would I ever do this to myself? You know?
I'll go back. I'll go back and play it. And
I want to put it in C tier, honestly. In fact, I kind of want to put it in D tier, but
okay,
you're fighting for A or B.
This is your tier list. I'll go to C.
I'll go to
I
C.
get it. I get it.
It is not above 4 Swords for me. It's weird. It's weird. I have a lot of gripes with this game.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I don't know. I know all I can think back to is I spent a lot of the game sailing, and I did not like it. Like I would make my line through the ocean, and then I'd just have to sit there and like deal with like Octoroks and stuff. And I was like, why? Like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I just have so many fond memories playing that game. But I get it. It's not the best Zelda. I guess like the nostalgia factor of it all like gets me.
Yeah. Anyways.
Which brings me to Spirit Tracks.
Yes. Spirit Tracks.
Which should be A tier.
Okay.
Or the fact that I think they fixed a lot of the problems that Phantom Hourglass did.
Yes.
The soundtrack slaps.
Well, this is one of my blind spots. Because I've only played through probably 30% of this game when it was new. I haven't touched it since. I got stuck at a part probably because I didn't read the text. So I'm not going to put that on the game. But yeah.
I remember the puzzles and every like new place that I went to felt so cool and fun. And like, I don't know, the bosses were cool. There was a really cool part where you fight a bunch of baddies inside the train. Dude, it was cool, man.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Like in the train, like you're going along the track and you have to fight them in the train.
Yeah. They like break into your train and you have to fight them. Like,
dude, that's really cool.
Really cool like cinematic moments in that game. they just like I was like, how are like why did they do this on a 3DS title like or a DS title? My bad.
Right.
You know?
It was right before the 3DS, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So, anyways,
okay, I'll leave it in A. I agree with you.
yeah.
I can agree with you there. Okay, next up, dude. Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword, bro.
C tier for me. Well, probably. The story's amazing. Okay, here's the thing, Logan. I think we talked about this a while ago. It's like for me, I loved that game when it first came out. I was like, this is amazing, and like people were like complaining about it, and I was like, nah, you know what? This game is really good. Like it doesn't deserve all the hate. Re-release on the Switch. I cannot play that game.
Really?
It's not fun. It's not fun to me.
Really, a lot of people feel like the remake redeemed it.
Okay.
Like
Well,
it's good again, kind of a deal. So
I don't know.
this game is what taught me about. It's honestly one of the most impactful games in my life because it taught me the difference in why people like games. Because I found out that my younger sister, who plays like she's played every Zelda game too, like all the big ones. Turns out she likes Skyward Sword a lot for the completely different reasons that I like it. So she could care less about the gameplay. She's there for the characters in the story. So Skyward Sword in her eyes is like S tier.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, which I can't argue because Skyward Sword honestly has some of the best storytelling and dialogue in any of the Zelda games. Like it's might be the best. Like I went back like a week ago or so and I watched that final interaction with the Mize and I'm like, this is some of the coolest Zelda content I've ever seen, like ever.
I would agree. The story is amazing.
So it's kind of hard because they fixed all the problems. The problems that are left are just the game itself. So like do you enjoy revisiting areas? Do you enjoy kind of being strung along and having your hand held? You know, like you know, are you more in it for the puzzles? Are you more in it for the like the open world and making choices, getting to know the people? Because like Skyward Sword honestly has like I would say Skyloft is like S tier, but it has like nothing else. Like that's the problem with like the villages. Like there's like one village, but it's like incredible. It's an incredible village. So I feel like it's kind of harsh to put it at C. I feel comfortable leaving it at B. Maybe A.
Maybe top B, right?
Yeah, top of B.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, putting it top B.
Yes, I just feel I would feel bad putting it super low because I've had gripes with the game because you know the imprisoned is stupid. Like the imprisoned is just dumb. Okay, like that's one of the really big blemishes on the game for me. But I don't know. It's not a bad game. Like it really isn't. It's just kind of annoying if you're like me and you and we want to go out and do all these crazy cool things in the game. The Skyward Sword's like, you gotta do this and like only this. And you're like, what?
I remember last time the last thing I played on Skyward Sword, like when I was playing on the Switch or whatever, was it was the Fire Temple or whatever.
Right? Yes.
And I remember like starting it and then it was just over. And I was like, that was the most underwhelming temple I've ever played in any Zelda game. And the boss, that's probably one of my biggest gripes about it. Every boss except for Girahim and Demise, I think, is a big missed opportunity. Like,
I really like Clocktos.
Which one was that one?
He was the like the multi-arm golden mech thing.
He's amazing.
He is awesome. One of the best. Yeah.
That is true. So it has some of the best and it has some of the worst.
And I do think Girahim is a cool boss fight and Demise is a cool boss fight, but that's really it. Because like you're right, like the weird magma ball thing and the octopus that looks like he's
Monsters Inc.
He's like chubby Monsters Inc. bro. Like
and then you get the imprisoned, which
imprisoned.
Imprisoned.
I hate the imprisoned duo. I hate him. I hate him so much. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah. But I would agree. That's kind of crazy actually. It has some of the best boss fights and has some of the worst.
Yes. And what's stupid is if you do the boss rush, you have to fight every iteration. So it's like you fight 2 Girahims, you fight 3 imprisoned. You fight like
the Hylian shield, which is something that I feel like should be not that hard to get.
Yes, and the scorpion boss in the desert is not. He's just a regular enemy. So like he's not even a
Yeah,
real boss. You know.
which he feels
So
cool. It's a really cool boss idea, but
yes,
when you've already been fighting them, yeah,
yes,
exactly.
but I feel like it needs to be in B because I'm like this game's too good to be the worst, but it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
clearly not the best. It's clearly, even though it does have S tier storytelling, I will give it that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's just not why I play Zelda. So okay, what do you want next?
Um, no, I don't care, man.
Okay, dude. Twilight Princess. We're gonna do HD. I don't
I
think we're
never
gonna.
played it, but
Well, I'm just gonna count this as Twilight Princess.
okay.
It's it's literally just a better version. It doesn't change that much at all. It just honestly, if I had to say, because I don't know how long it's been since you played Twilight Princess, but Twilight Princess HD is how you remember the game. That
Gotcha.
this is how you remember it.
Okay, okay.
So
Then I would put it S tier for me.
okay,
Um, yeah, like with Twilight Princess, right?
I can
Um,
agree. Should I put above Link to the Past? I kind of want to.
for me it is. Yeah, for me it is.
I really like Twilight Princess a lot
Me
as
too.
well. It's in my top five for sure.
There's a anime feel to it with
Yeah,
the storytelling, which
yeah,
I love. Where like you have all these characters that like kind of return, and like even like the big like ogre guy that like comes and helps you at the end. Like that's also anime to me. And then
yeah,
you have like your group of friends that like are helping you like research, which is like it felt so cool and so like adult. I don't know. It was all. I loved the game. The combat was great. Introduced, well, I guess Wind Waker was the one that kind of like started that extra
yes,
combat stuff.
yes.
Um,
Those were the days, man. Because even Minish Cap had those hidden
oh
arts you
yeah,
could learn. It was just what was
yes,
going
yes,
on back then.
yeah.
I miss it. Because on, yeah, you're right. It's so cool. Like Helm Splitter will always be one of my favorite moves ever.
Mm,
Just hitting them with the shield and then jumping over their head and slashing them. So cool, dude. So
yeah,
cool.
so
And
so good.
yeah, you're right. Wind Waker did have that too. Twilight Princess is it's weird to me though because it's Skyward Sword for the first half of the game and then it's Ocarina of Time for the second half. Does that make sense?
Wait,
And what I mean by that is it's very linear. It's very linear the first half. Like you can't really do anything else. But then as soon there's a certain point in the game where it just completely opens up.
right after
And
Midna, right when you can change into the wolf, when
yes,
yeah, right,
you go get the Master Sword, and then the game is completely open,
yeah,
and it's incredible. It's like it's weird because it's like it's almost like it reaches. It's like I reach like the first half is like lower than Ocarina of Time, and then the second half's like higher. So it's
yeah.
to me it's kind of
To me,
weird,
that's good game design, right? Where like, well, maybe it takes it to a little too far in
kind of. I
extent.
you know what I mean? Because if you think about Ocarina of Time, and I'll get into Ocarina of Time and why it's so brilliant, but Ocarina of Time it's not so drastic. Whereas Twilight Princess is very like restrictive for a long time, and then it just bursts open.
Mm-hmm,
Whereas
mm-hmm.
Ocarina of Time is like incremental, so it's like here's like a bunch of content, and then after a certain point you reach a threshold, and then there's a bunch more content, and then you reach another threshold, and then there's a bunch more content, and it's consistent throughout the game. Whereas Twilight Princess is like it's very drastic. Um, I don't know if this is making any sense, but uh, in terms of
No, yeah,
thematics, the combat, like the story and the music and the temples and the boss fights, like it's definitely up there. It's definitely one of the best ones ever. It
yep.
yeah, and
Oh yes, don't even get me started on the boss fights, bro. Oh my gosh, dude, the freaking the water temple one, right? That
yes,
has to be like ingrained in my memory
yes,
forever. And same with Blizzetta, one of the creepiest things. And
yes,
that whole dungeon was such a cool like vibe. Like
yes,
I think what they were able to pull off in Twilight Princess was like kind of in my eyes like what they were trying to pull off in Ocarina of Time, right?
yes,
Where like the dungeons felt so drastically different, which they did great in Ocarina of Time, but they were able to like put more like themes into it, right? Where like
yeah,
you're literally going through an abandoned castle.
yes.
Like
Like
that is so cool.
yes, and like so yeah, the castle. I mean that it has similar vibes to Breath of the Wild. So like I feel like it kind of
Yeah,
borrowed from that,
yeah.
but I agree with you that the castle was awesome, and I even forget the castle's a temple, right? But it is. It's like a
Yes,
full-on temple.
and it's one of the it has the
Yes,
coolest music. It's so
yes.
good. Oh, it's so
Like
good. And
when
all
you
the
have to
dark
end, yeah,
nuts. Oh,
yeah, dude, yeah. Like when you enter it and you have
yes,
to
that's
defeat
what.
the Bokoblin guys, but then the guy joins you
Yep,
because
and
you're
they
under
join you.
suspect, and then you actually get inside, and like the temple starts, you know. And
Yep.
as you're climbing up these like ruined staircases with the top, like you can hear like the Ganon's music getting louder.
Yep.
But then
Oh,
you have to like fight these darknets along the way, and unlike Ocarina of Time, these darknets like mean business, you know.
right.
So it's like unless you grinded a bunch of money and have the money armor, like you might die.
And then the final boss fight is one of the
Yes.
coolest final bosses in
Yeah.
any game ever. Because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get Zelda, where you're like, oh my gosh, like it's a possessed Zelda, that's freaky. Then you get Beast Ganon, which feels cool as hell,
Yeah.
where you're knocking him over, and then you get horseback battle,
Yeah.
and then you get sword fight with Ganon, bro.
Yes. So you get
It's
started with
so
Ganon.
sick. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it
It's
was amazing.
really, really cool. Like all
I
the themes with
remember,
like Midna going Hulk mode and like quote unquote
yeah,
dying, and he's like on the horse and he's like holding her helmet and he like crumbles it
crushes it.
in his hand, and like that moment when like I feel like everyone who played the game when they saw that they were like, I gotta kill this dude.
Yeah.
Like I cannot believe he just killed her. Like you just like this rage, like someone actually died. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, it's
And
really good.
Zant was such a freaky guy too.
Yeah, yeah. I forget the Twilight Temple's a thing. Like that game had a great number of temples, which
Yep.
is why it's like crazy to me that the game doesn't actually open up until after the third one.
Yeah.
And you might say that it's like Ocarina of Time, but I've played so much Ocarina of Time. It is not like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is so good. Ocarina of Time is so good, dude.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, yeah, Twilight Princess I think has better story elements than Skyward Sword. I think now that I'm thinking about it.
Ocarina of
That
Time.
might be a hot
It
take.
that's
No. Twilight Princess over Skyward Sword. Story elements.
oh.
That might be a hot take. I don't know.
That might be a hot take because, in all honesty, Twilight Princess's story like makes no sense.
Oh really? Okay, it's been a long time since I've played it. So.
Well, I'm just saying what the stuff that happens in Twilight Princess is like what?
Weird.
Like if, yeah, literally, it's like every time I think about it, it boggles my brain. I'm like, what even happened in that game? Like
That's true.
what?
Honestly, I can't really.
Yeah,
All I
so
remember,
it's like everything that happened was really cool, but then when you sit down and
Yeah.
think about it, you're like,
you're like, why?
what? You're like, wait, Zant, but
Yeah.
Ganon
Yeah,
was a
that's true.
spirit, but he was killed, but then he lived because he had the Triforce. But was Zant like fused to him? Were their spirits fused? Were they not? Like Minna's an imp, but then she's a beautiful woman, and like you can turn back into a wolf whenever you want, but like, because like don't even get me started that cutscene where like it shows all the shadow links and it's like super creepy and like Ilya has like no
Yeah.
pupils and you're like,
I forget about that.
like where did the light sages come from? They're not in any other game. You know, like the light spirits, right? They're
Right,
only
yeah.
in. Maybe it's just because Twilight's only in that game. So like they kind of like they only show up when like the Twilight is trying to invade. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, dude. That game is so crazy because I still think about like at the end when Ganon dies and like Zant snaps his neck or whatever. It's like, what is that?
Right.
What was that? I don't know what that is, but it's cool. Like I think about it and I'm like, that was cool, but like, what was it? Like, what happened? So that's where I'm like, Twilight Princess has like so many cool, iconic, and epic things that are just very confusing. They're very confusing. And yeah, but I mean, I'll agree that like with Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess has a lot of storytelling that is under the surface, and I really like storytelling like that. Whereas Skyward Sword's very upfront about everything. It's like here is the whole story. Here is all of the lore right here in front of your eyes. And then in Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, it's like in Ocarina of Time, you go into Castle Town right after Ganon leaves, and like you see a knight die. Like you can do that, or you know, like the stuff like the fact that Ganon is taken over is your fault in Ocarina of Time. They're not like so cut and dry with it, you know, where it's like he kind of tricks you into opening up the gate, and then he gets the Triforce and takes over the world. So it's almost like you becoming strong enough to stop Ganon allowed him to become the villain. It's like, what? And like the fact that Ganondorf, like in Tears of the Kingdom, it's a very similar character arc in Tears of the Kingdom that it is in Ocarina of Time, where Ganon's like, he just wants to like protect his people, but then he gets really power hungry and like spiteful because Hyrule isn't treating his people well, and ends up just completely turning into like an overlord that wants to just take revenge, right? It's like, but like again, in Ocarina of Time, you don't really get that. You're just like, oh, this is a bad dude because Zelda said so, and then he ends up being a bad dude. But like in reality, there's like all of these things happening that are under the surface. And Skyward Sword is like, I'm Demise, I am gonna curse you, and it's like he like literally just lays it all out for you. Like there's no room for questioning. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I prefer the under the surface stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in a game, it depends. It depends on the game, but like in a like you wanna experience it, you don't wanna read it.
Honestly, to me, that bumps it up because I honestly think the storytelling that isn't said has a bigger impact on me, if I'm being completely real. So yeah, anyways, that's Twilight Princess, you know, ball and chain, top, you can be a wolf, you can, you know, do horseback battles, you've got the hidden arts, you got iconic temples, you got freaking like a really in-depth fishing mode for some reason.
Yeah.
That I actually did. I can actually say with 100% certainty I've done everything in Twilight Princess, including catching that stupid freaking fish, that Hylian loach. Like I can suck a nut, dude. I hate that dude. I literally spent 3 days straight trying to catch this guy.
Dude,
it was the most. It was. I'm not kidding you. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in Zelda. I'm not even kidding. Like not even close. But yeah, for that, Twilight Princess gets a high S.
Yeah,
in my opinion, high S.
Agreed. Do you just want to touch on? Do we want to go to Ocarina of Time now? Like, I don't know.
Should we?
About it a lot.
Okay, Ocarina of Time. Honestly.
So grab 3D.
Honestly, if I'm being real, 3D. If we're gonna put 3D up here, I feel like we shouldn't, but maybe we should.
Well, I'm actually curious. Do you think 3D is better than the original? Because okay. Well, let me tell you mine first. Ocarina of Time 3D comes with Master Quest, which, in my opinion, is awesome.
Okay.
It comes with a better interface, which is awesome. It comes with better graphics, which is awesome. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I would still rank Ocarina of Time on the N64 higher than Ocarina of Time 3D.
Wait, okay, so wait, you were like fighting for Ocarina of Time 3D with all those points, and then you put it lower anyways. But I just want to know why. Because if I'm being real, I want to put it lower too, but I have no actual reason.
I'm the same.
The only reason I have is that it's on the 3DS. Like, I have to use a 3DS to play it. That's like my only reasoning.
I'll be honest, there is something that you just get. I'm all about aesthetic and I'm all about charm. And there's something about the N64 graphics that cannot be touched. There's just something about it. The way that Link looks, it's just a vibe.
Yes, I do agree that
the way that the Redeads look like super creepy, you know. I know the updated graphics are always awesome.
Yes.
But there was like a realism to the style in Ocarina of Time.
Right.
It was more stylized in 3D.
Well, yeah, the crazy thing to think about is that back then, those graphics were some of the most realistic graphics.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy to say. Because they weren't like cel shaded stylized. They were like trying to be realistic. Like if you look at the artwork for Ocarina of Time, it's very like realistic.
Yeah.
You know, like the artwork for the owl and everything. Like kind of nuts. So I agree with you, but then what about this? In Ocarina of Time 3D, you never have to equip your, because I'm a little spoiled. Okay, I'm a little spoiled because I've been playing the randomizer for a long time, and they've really streamlined that crap.
Yeah.
Because in Ocarina of Time 3D, you no longer need an item slot for your ocarina, which is very, very nice, right?
Yeah.
And also the gyro controls are really good. Gyro controls are really nice, and especially if you're playing on the N64. Kind of hard to aim that bow. It really is. Like I'm used to it because I put in 100 hours or so.
Right.
But for someone who's never played Ocarina of Time, aiming's not super easy.
For me, when I finally played like another game with like actual aiming mechanics with like a reticle, I was like, this is cheating.
Oh
Because
wow,
like
dude, yeah.
Ocarina of Time, right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, I remember memorizing like, okay, it's like this much far above his thumb when he's
Yes.
shooting the arrows. Like,
Yes.
there's something about that. So when you actually land a hit, it feels so good. It feels like you actually aimed it.
Dude.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man.
Uh I know what you mean. Listen, I'm like with you, but at the
Oh,
same time,
also,
I don't know if that's necessarily a point to the game.
no. Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
I
like
will say though, that the other thing though, like you're talking about like the extra item slot for your Ocarina, like you don't have to put it in your thing.
yes.
I liked going into the menus of Ocarina of Time.
Okay, well that's just you.
It's like as you're like going through everything. Then wait, dude, I love it all. I love it all.
Now, I'll say that in Majora's Mask it's way worse because in Majora's Mask, like
Yes,
you have to juggle your items with your mask,
masks.
and it's like
Uh-huh.
what? But
I would
Ocarina
agree.
of Time, I feel like it was doable. But I will say that like I've played other games that had that kind of formula, and I really didn't like it. Ocarina of Time did have something up its sleeve, being a cartridge game that was very fast load times. It didn't take very long to do the menus, which was nice. Like if you press start, change an item, and press B and A to save, and you're saving while you're doing this, right? Like
Right,
very quick, very nice.
it is. Yeah.
Whereas like Resident Evil 4, which I came out around a similar time. It had a very similar system where if you ever wanted to switch what gun you were using, you had to open your menu and click on the gun and hit equip, and then go out of the menu every single time. And like reloading was in there too. You'd have to open the menu and like click on the ammo and combine it with your gun, and it's like that stuff's not that great. I'm happy that they don't have to do that. And like again, I'm a little biased because I've been playing the randomizer of Ocarina of Time, where the iron boots and the hover boots and the ocarina are put onto your D-pad on whatever
Yeah.
controller you're playing. You never have to
Yeah.
equip them ever. So Water Temple, so much better. Because that's the one temple where it becomes tedious, I think, is in the Water Temple. We have to re-equip the iron boots, unequip them, like all the time. Um, so anyways, that's really, it's weird. Like the only thing we really have bad to say about Ocarina of Time is it's like inventory management.
Yeah.
so,
Right.
so it's like
Which to me, like truly, like if you gave me like playing it on the Nintendo Switch Online, I'm like, oh, like this feels right. It feels right to me. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Well, I mean, again, we are biased. Like we have
Yeah.
to acknowledge that we are biased. We grew up with this game, and it is incredible. But we also got used to all of its weird little quirks.
Mm.
But I love all the enemies, the bosses, the music, the story, like being young and being old, like how dude, Sheik came from this game. Like
Mm.
Ganondorf came from this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Everything we know
it's
and love.
it's the epitome of what Zelda is. There's a
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
they kept trying to remake Ocarina of Time after it was
Right.
done, but like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's every single boss, every single temple, every single song is just like iconic.
Yep.
Like, it's hard to have a game where everything in it is iconic. Like, how do you do that? Like,
Yeah.
they've kind of reached those highs with Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
but
I would
it's
agree.
it's more spread out, I would say. And it's like the stuff that Breath of the Wild does well, it does insanely well. But then there's a lot of stuff it does that like doesn't matter. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like everything in Ocarina of Time matters. Like every room, every rock, everything in that game is important. It's actually
Right.
crazy.
My biggest problem with Breath of the Wild, and maybe we do
All
this
right.
now.
All right. Yeah, we're putting it up here.
My biggest problem with Breath of the Wild is the fact that
Oh boy.
it's not a Zelda game, right? Like to me,
For a
it's
lot of
not.
people, it is.
That's true. For a lot of people, it's like their first, right?
Yeah, like what makes it a Zelda? What makes it Zelda game to me is like the music, the temples, and like the boss fight. And that's why I feel like Breath of the Wild doesn't feel like Zelda to me because it doesn't have like
Any of that.
it doesn't really hit any of those notes for me. Whereas you look at Twilight Princess and it hits everything.
Here's
Like
the other thing too. Until Tears of the Kingdom, right? Breath of the Wild, it doesn't have any caves. It doesn't have any like hidden things.
Yeah.
That is what Zelda's about. Zelda's about
Yeah.
like puzzles, right?
Yeah.
Which Breath of the Wild had great puzzles. It had great overworld like interaction.
Yes.
The best open world. I will say it. The best open world in any game up till Tears of the Kingdom came out. In my opinion.
That is huge because I do think that Elden Ring might have it beat in my eyes.
Oh,
I need to.
I forget about Elden Ring.
I need to play it more. Because for me, Elden Ring is open as Breath of the Wild, while having all of the RPG aspects and dungeons and caves that Breath of the Wild should have had. Yeah. So I might even put it above, dude. I don't know.
I would agree. No. I think I would agree. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know. I guess like my biggest gripe with Breath of the Wild is, although it was one of the most exciting gaming experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
It never felt super Zelda to me.
Yeah. Yep.
I loved that it was in the Zelda world. I loved seeing Gorons. I loved the Lost Woods.
Yes.
I was so excited to see what this version of Zelda had to offer. It just did not deliver.
Right.
The Zelda content I was wanting in this format.
They made such cool characters, right? So it's like all the champions are cool, but they're already dead by the time you start the game, which is so dumb because it's like imagine like an anime starting and like the main, like, you know, it's like you're watching One Piece and like imagine the crew members being dead and Luffy has to like go and find out what happened to them, but then you don't get any more character development from them. You know, it's like you spent so much time on these guys' designs and their character and their personality just so that they could already be dead. And it's like
think of this, bro.
It's like what? Because it would be different because I feel like I don't know. It's before you hold that thought. Like before, I'm thinking about their successors, which we're finally getting to see some stuff in Tears of the Kingdom from them, right?
Yeah.
But like in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I don't care about these guys. I care about the champions. But they're already gone and they're not coming back and whatever, you know, like, I don't know, dude. And there weren't that many characters, even though there was a sprawling world. There weren't that many important characters. Cause if you look at like, Age of Calamity, you can play as like Impa and, Putin and Robbie and all these side characters that honestly, I feel like are very not like, why are they in? You know, why are they in as playable characters? Like what? That would be like if like Malin got in, like from Ocarina of Time. Like what? I can play as Ingo. What is this?
Isn't Malin in Hero Warriors though?
Or is Malin or Talon? No, it's not. It's the one from Link's Awakening. So because they wanted to represent every game, so I don't knock them for that. They wanted to represent every game. But wait, what were you gonna say?
Okay, okay. Like think of how cool it would have been if they did stick more to a traditional Zelda, and kind of piggybacking off of what you said. What if because like with Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past, there's two sections of the game. What if the first section of the game was Hyrule pre-devastation, pre-calamity?
Oh, bro. Yes.
And you got to explore the divine beast, or maybe like do a little temple to unlock the beasts from their like excavating them.
Yeah.
Then calamity happens and they're dead. Like
yes.
That would have been such a powerful
yes.
story.
So this is gonna go into Tears of the Kingdom a little bit for me. So and anyone who cares about spoilers, like at all, like you should leave. Like, and I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, Johnny, but like just like if you don't know anything about Tears of the Kingdom, like you might want to leave because I'm gonna go into it. So in Ocarina of Time, what makes Ocarina of Time so good and why it is the pinnacle, right? Because it did it right already. And it's weird because they're like doing similar things but worse. So it's like in Ocarina of Time, you spend all this time as a kid learning the world and learning all these different places and all these things, which is what you do in Breath of the Wild. In Breath of the Wild, you go to all these towns and you learn these people and these towns and structures and how it's laid out and everything. And it's weird because Tears of the Kingdom feels like the adult Link side of Breath of the Wild. It's very interesting how you start the game and you're going to these places and it literally feels like Ocarina of Time. You go to Zora's Domain and it's messed up like it is an Ocarina of Time. And you're like, I gotta fix this, like it's just weird how
Right.
they separated it into 2 games instead of having that like narrative payoff. We had to wait 6 years, and it's just weird, right? Like
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time did it in one package, and it did it very well. Whereas I feel like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are struggling with this, even though I did get a lot of those same vibes when I played Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm going around the world being like, what happened here? And
Yeah.
I felt like kind of like offended, and I need to fix this, like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So,
Totally. No, no,
but
no. I totally agree.
yeah, like it's weird how imagine if Breath of the Wild, after you beat Ganon, had a second half that was Tears of the Kingdom. Would it be a better game? Like just interesting.
Right.
Just
Yeah. No.
interesting. So I don't know where we're gonna put this game because it's one of the most influential games of all time. It's an amazing game in its own right. Tears of the Kingdom has kind of knocked it down a few pegs for me personally.
Yeah.
Uh, but it still has a lot to offer. It's still one of the greatest crafts of gaming history,
Yep. 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 I would
But
agree.
I honestly, it's
But as a
honestly,
Zelda title,
honestly,
that was
it's in my bottom 5 personally.
yeah.
Not objectively, but personally.
Right. And
So
here's the thing.
low B.
When I compare Breath of the Wild
I
to
see.
other games I've played, yeah, honestly, when I compare Breath of the Wild to other games I've played, I'm like, it's such a good game. This is what gaming should be. When I think of it as a Zelda title compared to all the other Zelda titles, yeah,
Okay.
I would say mid, I would say above Skyward Sword. I would
Okay.
say above Skyward Sword
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, do we really think it's worse than Skyward Sword?
and lower than Spirit Tracks. Yes.
Yeah. Is that what we're doing here?
I don't know.
Because honestly, I replayed it up to Tears of the Kingdom and I did enjoy it.
I would say yeah, I would say
But
definitely higher than Skyward Sword.
I think this is where it deserves to be. I don't think that's where I'd personally put it like
Above Spirit Tracks.
right there. I'd personally put it right there.
Really?
I don't like Breath of the Wild because and my reasoning is very selfish because it's all like my personal gripes, like things in games that bother me. You know how like we all have that, like we all have things that are just don't mesh well. Breath of the Wild is just a package that has like all of them in it. So I have a hard time liking it. But it's not
Yeah.
because it's a bad game. It's just because it has all the things that kind of grind my gears. Like I don't like weapon durability. I don't like an open world RPG where you can't actually gain experience and level up.
Yep. Yeah. I feel you.
I don't like limited resources. I don't like having all of my abilities right out the gate. I don't like that. I don't like the way the combat feels.
Yeah.
I don't like having to get headshots and stuff in an RPG game. I don't like that. And like that's just what Breath of the Wild is. So, you know what I mean? I don't like having all the shrines. I'd rather them just be pickup and have the shrines be temples that are more thought out.
Yep. I would agree.
I don't like the spirit orbs. I'd rather have heart pieces. Like it's just there's so many things in the game that just bother me.
Give me like 7 massive temples.
Yeah.
That like have all the shrine puzzles in them.
Yeah.
And don't give me a power that makes me feel like I hate the powers.
And there's no music either. There's no music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Rito Village. Oh, Zora's Domain. We've heard these before. And then there's some piano tracks.
Yeah. It's like let us give you a power in the game that takes away one of the things that makes playing the game fun, right? Like climbing. Okay, now I've got Volley's Gale, which is useful. And then it's like combat. Okay, now you got Urbosa's Fury, which makes most of the enemies like useless.
And dude, they're shocked for like a minute straight.
Right.
They're literally just like for like a minute.
And then you got Daruk, which like automatically parries.
Yep.
And then you got Mifa, who auto heals you with extra hearts. Oh, I guess that's in the DLC, but still.
If I'm being real, the best experience I think you could have playing Breath of the Wild, if you're not absorbed in like the towns and all the side quests, because I could see some people being like, bro, I loved doing all the side quests for all the towns, because the towns are honestly the most fleshed out part of the game. But I think the best way to play the game is to like, you just gun it to Hyrule Castle while doing some shrines. Like you kind of like play the game and you get like maybe a row of hearts and you just go to Hyrule Castle. Like don't worry about the Divine Beast. Just just like explore the world, get some Koroks, get some whatever, maybe get the Master Sword, and then just go to Hyrule Castle and beat it. Like,
Yeah, divine beasts are truly
yeah,
like
because
some of
yeah,
the most mundane. Yeah.
I'm a completionist, and it's weird because when I get sucked into Breath of the Wild, it's for the same reasons why I get sucked into like Mario Odyssey or Banjo Kazooie. I like collecting things, and Breath of the Wild has a lot of collecting. But the problem is that moving around the world isn't that fun for me. Like gliding's kind of basic, running's kind of tedious because you have stamina. Like there's no cool movement tactics or anything,
Right,
and
which
the
like you do get in
and
Mario Odyssey, and
yeah, and I don't want to fight guys because if I fight guys, I'm just gonna lose my weapons.
which I think that's why Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes, and we'll get into
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
like Breath of the Wild, bro, like it's like I don't want to fight people. I don't
yeah.
want to move around. It's like because once I realized I was like I literally tried to get all the Koroks and I was like I'm losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop doing this. Why don't I just play a game like Mario Odyssey where I can go around and collect everything, but it's fun, you know,
Right.
and it's
Totally.
rewarding, you know. So because even the armor pieces, like you get all the armor pieces, but then upgrading them is like the most tedious thing in the world. You have to go around and like find these very specific enemies drop and things, and it's just weird, bro. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I have a weird relationship with Breath of the Wild.
No,
Okay, Minish Cap,
Minish Cap.
Minish Cap A2.
Sure. I've never played more than like the first like 2 temples.
I would put it above Spirit
Tracks.
Tracks just because I've
I think I would
actually
too.
played through it, but I haven't played
No,
Spirit
no,
Tracks, which is why if you agree, then I'll put it there.
I would 100% agree. Just
It's
because
yeah,
from what I've played of Minish Cap, it's a fantastic 2D Zelda game.
it's
Spirit
so
Tracks
game.
is a great game, but I think pretty much every normal 2D Zelda game deserves higher than Spirit Tracks. Which I mean, I don't
Wow. Okay. Okay.
know. You know
I
what I'm saying?
well, I do, but the thing is, I just haven't played Spirit Tracks, so I just because a lot of people regard Spirit Tracks very well, so I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it
Yeah.
stands. If you think it's like that, I'll agree with you because again,
No, yeah.
it still has touch controls. Getting around on the
Yeah.
train probably
Like I would
isn't
put
as fun later on.
Between Worlds. Oh yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Anyways, all right, all right. So yeah, Minish
Okay.
Cap is a top A tier. I think that's fantastic.
Okay, Link Between Worlds next.
Between Worlds SS.
SS, bro. Yes, let's go.
I would put it above Grand Theft Auto.
SS, dude. Holy
One of the
crap.
best soundtracks ever. I remember
Yes.
when the Hyrule Field theme first played in that game, and it hits that little break where it's slightly different. I like wanted
Yes.
to cry. I was like, that
Yes.
is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
That soundtrack is incredible. Is
Yep, and the
incredible.
Yuga, Yuga.
Dude,
It's so
I mean,
good.
I mean the fact that it uses the same world, but it like recontextualizes everything with the wall thing.
Yiga?
Bro, you may have discovered something. But dude, I love this game. The only problem it has is that when you get to the Dark World, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because this is something I hate about Breath of the Wild is like when you truly become an open world, the more open you go, the more you sacrifice. And people don't realize this. They just want to do whatever they want. But you're sacrificing a lot when you do that. That's why Elden Ring is so freaking immaculate. And I haven't even played that much of it.
And you haven't really played like Red Dead 2 either.
I haven't, which that probably has a lot of things in it too that
Which yeah, like that's the thing is like it's crazy. You can go open, and you do have to sacrifice a lot, or you have to spend years making your game.
yes. Well, no, I actually don't agree with that. I feel like the stuff that you're probably alluding to, I don't know if it can be solved. Like I honestly think that if you go open, you have to sacrifice. Unless I mean, I guess you're right. Unless you literally like
Depending on okay, go on.
well, because this is what I'm thinking of, right? Is like if you want your game to be a certain way. So for instance, if you want the story to be a certain story, that ties the player, right? That's just how it is. So when you make it open, you're sacrificing the impact of like what the story of the game is. Like if you think about Breath of the Wild, the reason why that game's story sucks is because it's so fragmented and unnecessary, right? Like it's just not important. It's cool, kind of like a novelty, right? To be like, oh, well, now I know more about what happened up to this
Yeah.
point. But you can beat the game without knowing anything, and it doesn't really impact anything.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that game's story, and it's just so weird. But then you think of Ocarina of Time and its story, and it's like the stuff that happens in that game, you're kind of limited, right? On what you can do, but it makes sense. Like, and that I think that's the thing that really bothers me is I hate it when games keep you from doing things because the game says so, versus you can't do this because it actually doesn't make sense for the world and the character to do this. You know, like they're not gonna let you leave Kokiri Forest because Kokiris don't leave the forest. You know, and it's not until you free the Deku Tree and he like teaches you about who you are that you can actually leave. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and then you like you have to get the three spiritual stones that are like sacred heirlooms, and like you go and you do that, right? And
Oh.
the game like, but then once you're an adult, guess what? You can actually kind of do whatever you want. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
like the only thing that's holding you back is you can't go. What is it? You can't do the spirit or the shadow temple because the stuff with the well hasn't happened yet. You have
Right.
like, and that's like one of the only things that like it walls you off from. But like literally, as soon as you're an adult, you can go and you can get the iron boots. You can get all the tunics. You can do Gerudo Fortress completely. Um,
Yeah.
you can get Epona. You can like you can do all sorts of stuff. Like
Right. And
it's crazy how open that game is.
it, and like you talk about how open it is, but I don't think a lot of people see that when they play the game, right? Because, and I'm not trying to bag on Ocarina of Time at all, but like it is actually insane. And you've talked to me about this before. It is
Yeah,
actually insane how much you
yeah,
can do in that game that like you don't really realize it. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
yeah.
Like,
Because I think the and this
and
is the
adult Link is kind of hot too. So
yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Red tunic, gold gauntlets, mirror shield, bigger and
hell
sword.
yeah.
Any day of the week, bro. Put on some bunny slippers too for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, but this is the design, and this is my theory because obviously Breath of the Wild is like one of the most popular. This is what I was gonna say
Yeah.
earlier, but Twilight Princess was the most sold Zelda game until Breath of the Wild. So just so you know, like
Twilight Princess was the most what?
it's the
Over Zelda?
highest selling Zelda game besides
Oh,
Breath of
high
the Wild.
selling.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild's the only one that overtook it. So it was, I think it was like Ocarina of
Wow.
Time, then Twilight Princess overtook that, and then
Uh-huh.
Breath of the Wild overtook that. And for all I know, Tears of the Kingdom could overtake Breath of the Wild because everybody and their dog is playing this game. So
Yeah.
for
No, for
all,
real though.
yeah, and like the Switch base is like way bigger than it was when Breath of the Wild came out. So
Dude,
it could very
I'm
well oversell Breath of the Wild.
I'm gonna sound like mean here, but I kind of gatekeep Zelda a little bit. So as I see people like playing it. Oh, I think I told you. I told you like
What do you
this
mean by that?
okay, wait. Well, like there's this one guy. All right, this is like a mean thing, but I know it is, but it's I feel it.
Dude, tell me.
Bro. Okay, so there's this guy, super into Zelda, right? And
Yeah.
like, dude, sick. And he's like always talking about like Majora's Mask and all this stuff and Ocarina of Time. I'm like, bro, like, that's so awesome. Like, I love Zelda too. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so like, yeah, which games have you played? And he's like, oh, well, I've only ever beat Breath of the Wild. I was
Right.
like, well, wait, what? I was like,
Right.
wait, you said your favorite game was Majora's Mask. He's like, oh yeah, like I love Majora's Mask. I was like, have you played it? And he's like, no. I was like, what? Like how? And like I don't know. Like my early days with like Zelda are so precious to me because Zelda's been
Yes.
part of my life for forever. It like I swear, dude, the only reason I can read is because I love Zelda so much. And would just like play the game and like learn how to read and like I like saw Link doing backflips and anyways, it's just so precious to me that
Yes.
when like people got in from Breath of the Wild, which is awesome, and then but then they're like, I don't know, man, I don't know, something about it just kind of bothers me. And I get that it's toxic,
Yes.
whatever, but
Well, I
like I'm
think what
like,
bothers you is that what makes Zelda Zelda to you is now
isn't.
it's like tarnished because their
Yeah.
first experience of Breath of the Wild. So now in their mind, that's what Zelda is.
Yeah, and he has since played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and he
Yes.
loves them. Right, like he does really enjoy the games, which is great, you know. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. I just feel like I kind of like I gotta gatekeep a little bit because I'm like it's just something I hold very close to my heart.
Yes. I agree with you. I think it's so interesting to think that more people have played Breath of the Wild than have played the rest of the series.
Right.
Like just Breath
'Cause
of the Wild.
right, yeah.
Yes. Which is crazy. And it's crazy to me that like think about this though. It's like my little sister loves Zelda. But like ever since Skyward Sword came out, like she hasn't touched Zelda. But
Mm,
then Breath of the Wild comes out and now she's back into Zelda, even though there were a lot of things to play, and
right.
I think, and like maybe she's not the best example because she actually has played like Link Between Worlds and stuff. But like I know a lot of people where it's like they're super into Zelda. Uh, like I have a lot of friends that are really into like the whole series. But then like their girlfriend or their wife will be super into Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like but like
Right.
they don't play the rest of the games.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
are
Right.
addicted to this new one, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it makes sense. The way
Right.
that this game is absolutely mind blowing. And I will tell you right now, if I had this game as a kid,
Yeah.
I would have lost my stuff. If I had all this
Yeah.
time to play it and all that stuff, it's like weird how critical we are now that we're older. And because like our time is more precious, I guess. So we like are more critical on
That's
games
true.
for wasting our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very much a thing, and it's sad because I definitely think that like if I grew up with this game as a kid, I probably would like it a lot more. I'd have a lot more time to sit there and do it, and also I wouldn't have as many people yelling into my ears about like the most optimal ways or these secrets or here's 10 tips that you didn't know. Here's like all the cutscenes in a YouTube video. Here's you know you know what I mean? It's just like everywhere you look, everyone else is playing it and you're
Yes.
comparing yourselves to them. Whereas as a kid, when I grew up with these games, I had no other outside interference. It was just me and the game. It
Right.
was just me and the
Yeah.
game's relationship. But now I feel like if I don't do that, I'm gonna get spoiled. Like, and it's just like I know friends that already have 100 hours in the game, and it's just like I'm just so caught up in my head. Right? I'm trying to enjoy this game, but I'm just like, dude, I don't know. And then all the Breath of the Wild stuff I don't like creeps in there with Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like,
Right.
oh.
I hear you. I hear you.
So, oh, dude, check this out.
Oh, bro, adult link, bro. Dang. Yeah. That's nice. Oh, boot. Yeah, nice. A little smaller. Oh, whoa. Oh, dude, that's nice. Oh, dude, that's nice.
Hey, you like it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Dude, you're nice.
Dude, that just totally reminds me of
Awkward
is
time.
nah Smash 64.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, freaking love it. Okay. That was a huge thing because I guess what I was getting to was
Yeah.
that if the game is completely open, you're just like missing a lot of stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
this comes in not only with storytelling but with like level design and progression, right? Like in Ocarina of Time, it feels so epic when you're at those like last two temples because you have everything, and then when you fight the last boss, it's like or the last temple, it's like let's put everything you've ever learned together, and you can't do that in a game where you already started with everything.
Right. Sense
You
of
know?
progression has just kind of been
Yeah.
gone.
So
Um.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, I
give
hear what
give
you're saying.
give your player freedom. That's kind of invisible, right? But you still need to put walls. And if you can design the game well enough, they will not see those walls
Like
as
Ocarina of
walls,
Time.
right? Because Breath of the Wild just becomes so boring to me because it's like it's all just more shrines, more Koroks, more Hinoxes.
Right, because they
It's like
filled the world
whatever.
with things that you can
Yeah,
tackle in any way.
yeah.
And in order to do that, to make a good player experience, like it all is like right. It could all be new, no matter
Yeah,
which way you go.
yeah,
So it's all the same.
yeah.
You know?
You know the Zora in Ocarina of Time that like throws the rupees off the waterfall.
Dude, I love
That's
that
that's
game.
like what they did with Breath of the Wild. They're like, we have like all this money, we're just gonna throw it up in the air, and it just lands randomly around the map, and like go get it. You know, instead it's
Yeah. Yeah.
like, that's probably not the best example, but
No, no,
it
no, no,
just
no. It
bothers
is.
me,
It is. It
bro.
is because you go to some shrines and they're green rupee. You go to another shrine and it's a red rupee, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that was sick. It's 20 rupees.
Yes.
Still a rupee though.
Yep. So
Still just a rupee.
yeah. Anyways, so Twilight Princess original we're not gonna do because honestly, Twilight Princess HD is just better. It's just better. You climb things faster. The game's a little bit more colorful. The tears of light sections when you're in the Twilight with the wolf, those are way better and way faster. Because a lot of people complain about those. It's just better in every single way. So without being a different game, it's literally like the same game. So what about Wind Waker?
Wait, no, hold on. Let's
Okay,
do a lightning round. Let's do a lightning round. Let's
lightning
do one
round.
of the stupid shit.
Okay, Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warrior, because I want to get some of these out of here, so we just keep talking about
I
like the
B
good
B
shit.
tier. I put B tier. Hyrule Warriors.
Cool.
It's got redeeming quality. It's got redeeming qualities, but it is very very shallow of a game. It's
That's why I would put it C below Phantom.
but it's one of the best Warriors games, I would say.
Okay.
As a single player experience, well, actually, all Warriors games multiplayer experiences kind of suffer, so that's not anything against it. But
Cool.
Hyrule Warriors has so much Zelda content in it, bro.
Okay.
It has so much, and I know a bunch of people who love it to death. So it does something right, but everyone can also agree that it's literally just like a turn your brain off, hit some guys.
Just mash it.
Way too much padding. Way too much padding. But I would put it at the end of B tier because it's a very good game. Link's Awakening
Awakening.
original.
Original. I'd probably put is like B or C. And then I would put the remake.
Honestly,
I would put A over Breath of the Wild. I'm just thinking.
I don't know if I would though. If I'm being honest.
I would put it there.
Yeah.
And I'd put DX above Breath of the Wild.
I don't know about that.
Then I put Switch A.
If I'm being real, I'm it's not they're not fresh on my mind.
Okay.
But if I'm being real, I think I like the original Link's Awakening better than the remake.
Okay, you want to know what I like more in the original than the remake?
The last boss.
Okay, and I've never played the
music.
The music, man.
Yes.
Some of the music in the remake is absolutely amazing. Some of it suffers greatly.
There's also a bunch of performance issues on this game, which I have no idea why.
Oh,
like, it has a bunch of frame drop issues, which really bothers me. And they added the Dompe stuff where you can make your own dungeons, which ended up being really dumb. And in order to get the last heart piece, you need to do it. So I'm putting it below. Dude, it makes me mad.
I will say though, I did cry at the end of that one. The 2D animated little sections in that game.
If I'm being real, I think the original takes it, just barely. Okay. Because this game has a lot going for it.
Well, then DX just goes above the original, right? Because it's just the original with the.
No, I think the original takes it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Just barely.
Oh.
If I'm being real,
Why over DX? I thought that DX was just a colored version with another template.
Well, no, because DX also changed the art style.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Like, just look at this artwork here, like behind the name. Like, I never saw it as like a toy game. So like, I'm personally not a fan of that aesthetic, but that's just personal preference. I just remember playing it, and because I've played the original, and there's I like you said with Ocarina of Time, there's something about the original that this one does not have. And not only does it not have that, but it has frame rate issues. And not only does it have frame rate issues, but it has optional side quests that now gatekeep all the heart pieces that are very frustrating.
Cool.
It's very close though. Like, I'm not putting this at like D tier and this at A tier. It's literally like they are so neck and neck. But I think Link's Awakening, the original, does take it. If I'm being real.
Yeah, no. I like it.
Okay.
I was gonna get sad about heart containers, but
I mean,
that brings us back to Breath of the Wild.
Here's the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. They do have heart containers. So when you beat the bosses, you get heart containers.
They don't have heart pieces though.
They don't have heart pieces.
Pieces are where it's at, and they don't have heart containers that you can just find.
Yeah, but then Skyward Sword has the stupid heart medal you have to wear if you want all the hearts. Stupid.
That is stupid.
So dumb. Wind Waker. Okay. Wait, no, we're doing a lightning round. Sorry, we got sidetracked. Oracle games. Ages.
Touched them.
Ages D tier. Seasons. Right there.
Whoa, I'd like to hear why though.
Seasons is a great game.
What's wrong with Aegis?
It's bad.
What's so different?
Okay,
I
you know,
didn't know they were that different.
have you not played it? We're gonna put it in its own tier.
No.
We're just gonna put it in its own tier.
Oh no! What the hell? Those were made in 2001. What the fuck?
Listen, Oracle of Ages. So this is it, they split it into two games that in order to get the true ending, you need to beat both games, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
Seasons. So this is the problem. Seasons is like Link's Awakening but better. That's essentially the gist of it. Link's Awakening has some stuff that what Link's Awakening has over Seasons is Link's Awakening has the cool theme of being on the island and is it a dream, and then the giant egg and the cool ending sequence and the stuff with the girl, right? Like that whole narrative is cool, but I think as a game, Oracle of Seasons is just better in every way. And it was also the precursor to Minish Cap. Oracle of Ages and Seasons, they were made as the same game. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So what happened was, imagine like they were scaling the difficulty throughout the game, but they were like, you can play both games in any order. But Oracle of Ages is clearly meant to be played after Seasons because it is so hard. It is so difficult. And some of the dungeons and the puzzles are like so hard and like mind-boggling that me and Trev have like we've never beaten this game, but we've tried multiple times to play it and we just give up. It's crazy how difficult Ages is, like unless you look up a guide.
Okay.
This game is it's weird. It's like it's literally in its own category. I'm not saying it's the worst Zelda game, but it is just like beyond me. I don't even know where to put it.
Okay.
It's actually crazy. Whereas Seasons feels like a regular Zelda game, really fun, good dungeons, good like you can get the kangaroo or the bear mount. There's like mounts you can call and ride them around. Like it's so good, man.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can change the seasons of where you are, and like it changes like what happens, and it's so cool.
Oh.
Whereas Ages is all about going forward or backwards in time, and it like is so confusing. It's just worse, dude. It's so bad.
You guys gave me a copy of Oracle of Seasons. I'm pretty sure I have one of like a copy, or maybe Chris bought it from somebody.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's where I've played it, and I was playing it on my original SP. But I think I got stuck. I didn't know where to go. So, anyways,
this is how I feel about it, dude. Ages is whack. Okay, the adventure or the first Zelda.
Legend of Zelda. I mean, honestly, A.
A?
You like to go low B. I just think for the original game, like it did a lot of really cool things. It's not the best Zelda game.
I'll give it up, dude.
I just feel like, you know,
I agree.
It's got so many iconic things to it. Like
it is the first open world game ever made.
Wow.
I'll pretty much like there might be like a I don't know if you count like Colossal Caverns. That's like a text based game.
What's the one called, like The Adventure or Adventure or something?
What?
Yeah.
The Adventure.
Hold on.
I'm sure that there are other games, but like I think this was the first like successful proof of concept, which is
Adventure, and it was on the Atari. Look it up.
Okay.
Recognize it. It's called Adventure for Atari. It's like what Zelda is.
Okay. No, yeah. So like there were other iterations for sure.
Sure.
But the thing about this was like the first, I think, fully successful open world game. Like it did what like people were wanting out of an open world game. And what was cool is I think that Breath of the Wild did that again. Just like 20 years later. You know what I mean? Or 30 years later, sorry.
Yep. Agreed.
So it kind of It
pioneered an open world
like none other, right? Which is what this game did. So I agree with you. It definitely, I think,
it deserves a lot of credit.
It deserves, yeah, and it definitely,
the music that we know and love is literally in that game.
Yes, and like the secrets and all the weapons and the Triforce and Ganon and like, yep. So,
all right,
moving on to Adventure of Link, Zelda 2.
Zelda 2, I have not gotten very far, but I think it's a really cool game. It's so hard.
If like in my personal opinion, I would put it like there. If I'm being real, I'm a huge Zelda 2 fan. And I played it on the original NES too and beat it on the original NES. So
I should play it. I should play through it.
it is unforgivingly hard,
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
but I love the world and the towns and the abilities. I like the combat. I like the enemies. I love the dungeons, and it's a 2D platformer, which yeah, that's great for me. Like Link's down stab and up stab and smash that came from this game. Yeah, freaking the temple song from Smash. Yeah, Zelda 2. Magic. First in Zelda 2, right? A lot of things. The freaking gauntlets, you know, like the power glove. First in Zelda 2.
Wow. All right. Okay. Basically, what I'm getting out of this whole thing is I'm gonna go back and play the Adventure
And
Link.
I love Zelda 2. We should play it together.
Link's Awakening. I'm so down. And then I want to go back and play Oracle of Seasons.
But
and Link's Awakening original.
It's weird because I feel like I shouldn't put it over Spirit Check. I'm gonna believe it at the bottom of A tier, just for the sake of it, because it probably does not deserve to go above those guys.
You just love it.
I just love it a lot. It's honestly one of my favorite games.
I really want to play it. Yeah.
So, but it again, it is.
I've played it. I haven't gotten.
It is unnecessarily hard though, but I feel like you would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I could get into it. Yeah.
Lightning round continues. Not so lightning round. Wait,
Right.
Link's Awakening DX. That actually,
I mean,
that's just Link's Awakening, but better. Like it's literally just.
That's what I said. I said Link's Awakening DX is.
I thought you meant the Switch version.
The Switch. Oh no.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Link's Awakening doesn't exist since DX exists.
Got you.
Link's crossbow training S tier.
Crossbow training.
Yeah.
S.
Easy peasy. Majora's Mask.
My Nintendo Picross, dude. I would probably put that. I love Picross.
Wait, there is a Twilight Princess Picross, dude.
I would put that in probably A or S.
Yeah, so let's just get these out of the way, dude. Freaking Anniversary Edition. That's the 3DS one. So BS Zelda.
BS Zelda goes down there.
Wait, no. Wait. Hold on. BS Zelda is different. I remember what BS Zelda is. Crazy that I've actually played it.
One of the Gamelon isn't on here.
What is this? Ancient Stone Tablets? What is that? Yeah, CDI Zelda would all go in meme time though.
That Wand of Gamelon?
No, Wand of Gamelon isn't on here.
That's BS. That says BS.
No. BS is different. BS is different.
Okay.
Which I can learn.
We've played BS: The Legend of Zelda.
Did I? Do you remember?
You and I played it. Yes.
Do you remember? It was part of the Super Nintendo like online.
Yeah.
Like, you remember there was a weird online thing that Super Nintendo had that was very, very primitive, but you would connect it to the time of day, and it was only available for a certain amount of time, but you could emulate it, and it was like a weird A Link to the Past like spin-off thing. Yeah. And I think that probably I'm gonna leave it in D just because I don't know. It's whack. Weird. It's just weird. I don't know.
Bro, Master Quest.
I don't know, A.
I would put it A. Or
Because
I would actually put it S personally.
I don't know why it flips the world, Johnny. That's my one thing. Why does it gotta flip the freaking world? Why?
I just remember my first time playing through it. I was like, oh my gosh, they made my favorite game I've ever played, but like fresh.
Yes, it is a first way to experience it. It is not the best way to experience it though, and it is by no means. It has a lot of problems. Like
play Ocarina of Time. You need to play Ocarina of Time.
How many times? Yes.
I wouldn't even play Master Quest until you've beaten Ocarina of Time like 2 or 3 times.
Yes, no, I'm with you. Like, how many times? Like, even me, someone who has played randomizers, where the dungeons are randomly Master Quest versions of those dungeons. I forget. Like, I'll go into the dungeon and be like, "What's the solution?" Because the solutions to those puzzles are like not regular.
No, they're not.
They're like super abnormal. Like in the water temple, you have to like hook shot random walls and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, thanks.
Master Quest is wild. Master Quest is wild.
Yeah, but it's still a great time. Like I love playing the Deku Tree and having like fire bats. Dude, that's terrifying, and I love it. So, okay, Wind Waker HD, and Wind Waker. Let's do those two right now.
If I'm being real, that's one of those cases where, for me, Ocarina of Time 3D does not beat Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker HD, in my humble opinion, beats Wind Waker.
Okay.
It gives you a better sail. The graphics aren't changed too much. The lighting is just better, and who doesn't love that?
So are we going high A or are we going S? Because I personally think it's high A.
I would say high A. I wouldn't pull it.
I don't think
S.
I don't think it reaches this pinnacle.
There's a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
Even though HD does solve a lot of the problems from Wind Waker, like the sailing and even like the Triforce quest, right? Which everybody talks about.
Triforce quest. There's a lot of problems with, like, there's not a lot of dungeons in the game. Very short. Right. Probably one of the shortest Zelda games.
Yeah, and man, I always think of what could have been with the that one temple.
Yes, it has some of the highs that Twilight Princess has, but it has some of the lows that Skyward Sword has, I would say. So it's like
one of my favorite. Actually, it's in my top 3. I'll be honest.
Wow. Okay. For A tier, that's kind of that's wowie.
I think it'd probably be in my top 3. It's one of my favorite Zelda games ever. But yeah, I like compared to everything. Well, how does that work for me? I don't know. I love Wind Waker. I don't know. I guess I'm just like in this mood right now where I'm like, yeah, it doesn't deserve S.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave the Hyrule Warriors down in meme time. I think original Wind Waker. Wait, do you think it deserves S?
No, I would say A is fine.
So I would say regular Wind Waker, maybe top of B.
Yeah, I would put it above Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that they're different enough to me. Whereas
I would agree.
Twilight Princess is not different enough.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, I haven't played that HD remake.
Yeah. If I had to put original Twilight Princess on here, I'd put it like
GameCube or Wii,
I'd put it right there. If I had to put Twilight Princess original on there, I could put it like top A.
GameCube or Wii though, bro.
GameCube. We would go down to B tier.
Motion controls.
And it flips the world for no reason. It flips the world.
It flips the world in the Wii version?
Yes, just to make him right-handed. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
No way.
Yeah, it like it's freaking D tier, bro. Stupid.
Wait, so is Twilight Princess HD based off of the?
Yes, it is the GameCube version, but better.
Gosh. Dude,
and if you play it, but you have the mindset of Ocarina of Time, it'll blow your mind because guess what? Kakariko is now on the right because Kakariko was on the right in Ocarina of Time, and it's like what? Yeah, it's.
You're right.
Twilight Princess is incredible. It is incredible, and the Wii version. The Wii version's honestly worse, which is crazy how we enjoyed it so much because it is just worse.
Well, okay. You want to hear a story about the Wii version?
Sure.
You know, the final boss, fighting him, and I'm like, bro, this is epic. And I kid you not, bro, I stood up for it. I stood up, and I mimicked Link's actions.
Bro, dude, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Dude,
that is so cool.
Him, I felt pretty
you were in the game, bro.
I had a friend watching me too. Bro. I was like,
dude, and then like in Skyward Sword, when you do that like final stab on Demise, he's like, and he's got like the lightning.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay,
okay, cool.
Majora's Mask 3D, double S.
Really? Okay. For real?
I kind of want to put it in double S. It is so good.
It is. I have not beaten the game. Like I've beaten Majora's Mask on N64. Haven't beaten the game on 3DS yet.
There was one point in time where I considered Link Between Worlds and Majora's Mask 3D to be the best Zelda games, and it was tied.
Wow. Okay.
But that was also back when I didn't mind playing on a 3DS, but now I do. I still regard these guys. If these two games were on the Switch, like no contest, bro. Like no contest. Like in my eyes, they're on the Switch, even though they're not. You can emulate both of these though. And this game, I feel like Majora's Mask 3D really got an upgrade, both in the gameplay and in the visuals, way more than Ocarina of Time ever did, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you have more inventory slots. You have like the ability to go forward in time to a specific spot, which is so useful. That is so useful. And like, I don't know, dude. Like I do prefer the original's Zora swim, right? That's a topic. Like the original Zora swim is like way better, but that's like
Oh,
that is
okay.
that and the fact that the boss fights are different. Those are the two things that hold the game back.
Oh, dude,
Okay.
the boss. Okay, that actually really pisses me off with the boss
Okay.
fights because I've seen that. Because they have the eyeballs. Like that's so dumb.
Okay.
That's
You
so
know what?
dumb to
You
me.
know what? I'll put it down here. It's really close though. I feel like the game is still like almost just as good.
Okay.
But I agree with you though. The boss fights are a lot of the reason why Majora's Mask is so good,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they
that
just
does
made
hinder
it
it.
really stupid.
But
Yeah.
they somehow captured Majora's Mask in an even better way in 3D, and
Okay.
I just don't
Hmm.
I don't know how they did it. It's such a magical feeling game to me.
Cool.
Like I just
Dang, I'll need to play more of it then.
I love Majora's Mask 3D. But maybe it's just because
That was
I don't know.
hype when it got remade.
Yeah,
Everybody wanted it, and then I
dude.
remember
Yeah, it
when
was
it
it
came
was
out.
it was in that peak 3DS time where we got like Luigi's Mansion 2 together. Like that's when that came out. It was
Yeah. Well, it
very
actually
very
came out
hype.
on my mid when I was gone, dude.
Really?
Hmm.
No way.
I pre-ordered it, but it came out after
Dang,
I'd left.
dang, bro.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, this is meme. I mean, it's just four swords. Like,
Yeah. 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 And same with the Link to the Past and Four Swords. Like,
yeah, I'll just leave these down here, honestly. Like, let's.
Cadence of Hyrule. Okay, ready? I loved Cadence of Hyrule. Or no, I was. Oh wait, dude, we've done it. Oh, but we need to put Tears of the Kingdom
Yes,
somewhere.
Game and Watch right
Okay,
there.
so Cadence of Hyrule, I was so interested in, like so interested in when it first came out. Then, right before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, it goes on the freaking game trials or whatever the fuck that's
Yeah.
on Nintendo Online, and I was like, oh, chill. I'll try it. I've really wanted to try it.
Yep.
I hated it.
Really?
Hated it. Yeah,
Did you try to play
I
with the
hated.
rhythm?
Yeah, of course. What do you mean? You have to play through them.
No, you don't.
What?
Because I'll be honest, I tried to play Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I hated it. And I love rhythm games, but like the way that they did the rhythm, I was like, I can't do this. It's too much for my brain, and
Yeah,
it doesn't even feel like it's on beat.
it doesn't. No.
So it like really bothered me. So I like gave up on that game, even though that game has a great soundtrack, great visuals,
Yeah, no.
cool
It's a really
concept.
cool idea.
I
Yeah.
just I just don't have fun playing it, you know. In Kids of Hyrule, we got it, and the thing is, it's co-op. So me and Trev played it together,
That
and
sounds fun.
we actually had a ton of fun because there is a option in the options where you can turn off having to do things on beat. So what happens is you just have to keep track of. It's literally like old RPGs where it's like if you move, they move, and you just have to keep track of like that.
That sounds so much
And
better, man.
the game has so much cool stuff in it, and the music is so good. The music is
Okay.
incredible. And then there's a side campaign where you play Skull Kid, I think. And that's
What?
also really cool. So the game has a lot to offer, but I do agree that like the way it's meant to be played just doesn't work. So I would put it probably
It was just so hard for me, and I love rhythm games too. I feel like we're both like, not crazy
I'd
rhythm
put it
games,
at the
but I
bottom
love
of
it.
B tier.
Okay, I would put it in bottom of C. I would, yeah, but that's my experience.
I
But
think you need to play it again without the rhythm.
okay, yeah,
Because it
but
honestly because there's the whole map. It's a whole map that you can explore at your own pace.
right, which
And
I
it's so
didn't get
cool
that
because
vibe.
you can go around the whole map and you can find the Zelda items and you can like go back and find secrets. It's got everything that makes Zelda really good, and the soundtrack's
Okay,
great.
cool.
So
Yeah,
and it's got all the like the cool enemies, right? Like all the enemies that you know and love are in there too. So it's like
right. Yeah, that is cool.
it's a good experience, but it's definitely nothing to like it's nothing compared to what's above it. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, original Link's Awakenings down here, Hyrule Warriors. Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
now
We just gotta figure out Tears of the Kingdom.
okay, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think there's any on here besides like CDI we haven't talked about. This list had pretty much everything.
What
And
are we using for Tears?
let's do this one. The Link to the Past Four Swords. Because Link to the Past Four Swords, the only difference with this one is it had an optional Four Swords dungeon in A Link to the Past, which is cool. That dungeon is really cool. But you also you gotta get a lot worse audio quality for the music. And you also have Young Link's voice the whole game. So I personally think it's a worse game, but if you really like Link to the Past, that dungeon is worth playing.
Cool.
Tears of the Kingdom.
I'll be honest.
Bottom of S?
I've been Yeah, I've been trying to
or
think
top
about it
A.
this whole time.
That's where I'd put it. Bottom S,
I
top
was
A.
thinking, yeah, I was thinking either top, like
I
top,
think bottom
almost
of S.
middle A. Yeah.
Maybe?
I
No.
don't like
Top
putting it
A.
above Twilight Princess.
Top A. I'm
I don't
deciding.
like putting it above Twilight Princess. But
Like the original Twilight Princess?
oh, right.
This is Twilight Princess HD is right here, bro.
Got you. Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah.
I
No, I
would
would agree with that.
put
I would agree with that.
I think I want to put Twilight Princess at the top of S.
Wait, scroll up a little bit.
I mean, this is it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you good.
There you go. This should be.
You put it above Ocarina of Time 3D.
Yes. Yes. Which, yeah.
I think I would agree.
I kind of. It's crazy, but this I actually wholeheartedly agree with this list.
Yeah, dude, Triforce Heroes.
Like the real hot takes here are like Breath of the Wild and Zelda 2. I feel like everything else is kind of tame.
I'll probably agree. Yeah,
like I feel like a lot of people would be like, "What do you mean Breath of the Wild is B tier?" And a lot of people would be, "What do you mean freaking Zelda 2 is freaking A tier?" Because a lot of people hate Zelda 2. Actually, they absolutely hate it. They're like that game's. They used to be called
what else did we put really low? Yeah, no,
it used to be called the Black Sheep. When at this point, I think the Black Sheep is there's a lot more Black Sheeps. Like
yeah.
Phantom Hourglass.
I think people would tell us to put Triforce Heroes like down into whack. People really dislike that game.
Yeah, if we're not including spin-offs like Four Swords, like multiplayer spin-offs or gimmick games or like Master Quest, if we're not including any of those, and we're just talking about like mainline Zeldas, and I'll include like the Oracle games in that, I think the worst Zelda games are Phantom Hourglass and Link's Awakening. That's like what I used to feel. Those are like but that doesn't mean that they're like bad games. Like a lot of people would take that as their bad games, but like I just feel like they just have the most problems. Which I actually over time, Skyward Sword has made its way down into the bottom 3. Like because if you look at this, that's kind of what we have going on here. We have Skyward Sword, Link's Awakening, and Phantom. Where's Phantom?
C.
Yeah, down here. Like, if you take away all the spinoffs, those are our bottom 3, which I actually, it's crazy to say, but I actually agree with that. And it's, I put Breath of the Wild, it's in my bottom 5. Absolutely. Because it doesn't look like it is, but it is like 1, and then 2, and then 3, 4, 5. It is in my bottom 5.
Yeah. I would put Ocarina of Time in my top. Ocarina of Time would be my, if I had to rate.
This is my tier list, bro.
Okay, so my bottom 5. Oh, see, that's the thing. I'm such a peasant. I haven't played like everything, but my bottom 5 would probably have to be. Oh, that's so hard though, because I like them all.
So yeah, I guess so. My homework.
Skyward Sword is probably near the bottom for me.
Yeah. Surprising enough, because that game has so much good in it, and we loved it when it came out, and it's somehow in the bottom, dude.
Yeah. If I'm being real with you, I would probably put Phantom Hourglass pretty low for me too. Even though I love that game, Phantom Hourglass is higher than Skyward for me.
Okay. Personally. I can see that. In fact, so this is my homework. I need to play Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks again, because those are 2 of my biggest blind spots in Zelda. I need to actually beat Oracle of Ages, as hard as that might be. Like maybe on stream, because
I'm really excited to play Link's Awakening original because I loved the Switch version. So you telling me that the
yes, I mean,
better.
If you aren't a fan of the way the Game Boy games are, like, because it is a Game Boy game, it's kind of like in between A Link to the Past and Zelda 1. If you're okay with that, I think you will love it. And if you play DX, it has color. Yeah. But I think it's just
Switch Online?
I don't know.
I'll look.
I don't know, but it's it is very good. I remember playing through it, and I had a lot of problems with it, but I still very much enjoyed it. Whereas I feel like in Phantom Hourglass, I didn't enjoy it more than I enjoyed it.
I would love to revisit Phantom because I do have a little bit of nostalgia goggles on that one. Spirit Tracks actually, I think, just a good game. I'll be real.
Okay, I think it deserves to be where it's at.
Yeah.
Like
So
legit.
yeah, I want to play Link's Awakening, Game Boy version. I want to play Oracle of Seasons, and I really want to play the Adventure of Link. And then I'll revisit Phantom at some point in my life.
Yes, and just so everybody knows, this Zelda right here, the Link to the Past Four Swords,
It's
is actually Tears of the Kingdom.
of the Kingdom.
Um, so like,
Bias.
yeah.
Just
So
kidding.
no. Tears of the Kingdom. We're true Zelda fans. Not that other people aren't, but like, I'm not saying that. What I mean by true Zelda fans is we like literally have eaten the entire series, and we objectively understand the differences between them all. And I don't know. I feel like this is a good spot to put it. But then
Yeah.
again, if we valued
I will say,
like open world and creativity the most, I feel like those would be the top two. But
Tears of the Kingdom did the one thing that I did not think it could do.
what, the underground?
No, the giving me the sense of discovery and
Yeah,
excitement that Breath of the Wild gave me, which
yeah,
is
it
pretty
did.
unmatched in any other game that I've played. Like I love the sense
Yeah,
of like wonder that you get playing those games.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just objectively
It's
when it comes
crazy.
to Zelda, right?
Yes, it's crazy how Breath of the Wild at this point in time feels like a tech demo for
Yes,
Tears of the Kingdom.
totally.
Like I never ever see myself going back to that game
Yep, agreed.
unless I'm trying to do some kind of weird speed running thing with stasis. Like
Agreed.
I just there's literally
Tears of the Kingdom is just a better game.
no there's
Yeah.
no redeeming qualities to me about the game. When compared to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just like it is just better in every facet.
I would
Every
wholeheartedly agree with
single
that.
facet. Like it's just crazy how that game's obsolete now. Because like Majora's Mask
Right.
did not make Ocarina of Time obsolete in any way. And
No.
A Link Between Worlds didn't obsolete Link to the Past, but Tears of the Kingdom came out swinging, and it's like I'm just cooler Daniel. I'm just the cooler version of Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild. More polished. It's more. I mean, Trev even told me today. He was like, "Hey, there was a interview with Onuma now that the game's come out, and he says that the game was finished March of last year,
That's what I heard.
and
Yeah.
they just literally spent a year polishing it, and it really shows. Even though this game has a lot of cheese in it still, but like, how much can you polish a game where you can do anything you want? Like,
Right.
and when I say anything you want, I don't mean you can go anywhere you want. I mean you can literally do anything you
Do
want.
whatever you want.
You
Yeah.
can combine anything with anything, and you've seen the TikToks, you've seen the YouTube videos of like giant stacks of wheels and weird contraptions and all sorts of stuff. You could literally, if you can think it, it can happen, and it's just crazy. Like I feel like it deserves to be an A just for that. Honestly, it's such an incredible game. I don't know how they coded it, and on a Switch, which is a very primitive piece of hardware now. So
Yeah.
like,
right.
what the heck, man? What a great game with so much more to offer.
Such a great game. Yes, you're right,
But
right. Well, like, neither of us are super far either, I would say. Like we've spent a lot of time
yes,
with the game, but neither of us are very far in the
yes,
game, which also goes to show, like, I think just how great of a game it is,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yes.
like
And I think
it is.
honestly, if I'm being real, I think over time it'll get better. If I'm being real.
I think so too.
Whereas I think
And
over
I will
time, Breath
say,
of the Wild kind of got worse for me. That's kind of why.
yeah, and the interesting thing for me too with Tears of the Kingdom is, like, today I was like, like, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit like Zelda'd out with it, like,
Yeah, I've been feeling that way too.
And then I got on today and I was like, goddamn, like this. Oh wait, this is awesome.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
and like I got on super excited to tell you about, like, the shit that I built.
Dude,
I was
I
like,
mean, I
oh,
can't wait to tell you about my experiences I had with the game.
I know,
You
and
know,
that's the hardest part for me
so
right now, is like not talking about it, 'cause I don't want to
yes,
spoil
dude. Yeah,
anything,
I
and I don't want
know.
anything to be spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another reason for you to beat the game, so we can talk about it.
Yes,
But
dude.
that's the thing, right? Is I'm not gonna beat it so I can be done with it. I want to beat it so I can actually experience the rest of it, like, I guess better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually planning on streaming. I want to try and 100% the game, but I feel like I need to stream it because otherwise I might lose interest.
Cool.
So
I like that.
yeah, because I genuinely do enjoy this game, and I think when I stream, it's a lot easier for me to like zone in on what's happening, and I think that'll help my Tears of the Kingdom experience. So, but dude, I love this tier list. This is great.
Me too.
This is
Good, I think.
yeah, I'm happy with it. So, freaking Ocarina of Time, bro. It's the one and only.
Time SS.
There you go. To answer your small question of what are my top 5 Zeldas, here you go. It's Ocarina of Time, Link Between Worlds, Twilight Princess HD, and then I would say A Link to the Past, and then Majora's Mask. Those are my top 5. In that order. I'm not really counting Ocarina of Time 3D, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Dang, bro. Wait, my top 5?
and then I would put Zelda 2
honestly,
over. I'd put Zelda 2 as my 6th.
Yeah, honestly, dude, it's kind of crazy because I'd put Ocarina of Time, Link Between Worlds, Twilight Princess. Then I'd probably hit Majora's Mask. Then Wind Waker for me. Yeah, and then probably Spirit Tracks.
Wait, is Wind Waker your 4th or your 5th?
I think Wind Waker's my 5th.
Okay.
So Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time, Worlds,
Princess. Majora's Mask.
Okay, Majora's Mask, then Wind Waker. Okay,
So.
I see. So like A Link to the Past isn't in your top 5.
I haven't completed it.
It's understandable. I totally get that because honestly, I think in my brain, from A Link to the Past all the way to Wind Waker, like this whole list, very close to me.
Yeah,
it's like extremely close.
I got really far in Link to the Past, and my save file corrupted, and I don't know, man. It just left such a bad taste in my mouth. I haven't been able to like go back to it.
And I am also a little biased because I have some crazy experiences with Link to the Past. The first time I moved out here to Utah, that's the first game I played. Me and Trev raced it. So he was playing on the computer and I was playing it on I think the Wii or something.
Cool.
And
that sounds awesome.
But we had a giant silver CRT that we grew up with. And something happened in the moving truck and the bulb was dying and we didn't know in the TV. So I was playing it and every day I would play it. Like on the second or third day, like it was dimmer and I was like, what's going on? And then it was like, I was like, oh no, the TV's dying. I have to beat this. So I just remember I kept inching closer to the TV as I was playing. And by the time I was at the last boss, I had to literally like have my face like an inch away from the TV to like see what was happening. And I beat the game. And I remember by the end of the credits, you could no longer see what was on the TV. Like I just barely beat it just in time. It's an awesome memory that'll always bump it up in my eyes. But then again, I also really like the randomizers for Link to the Past. So
yeah, okay, cool.
And that game is very similar to Ocarina of Time in the way that it's structured. Yes. So just how it's open, but not quite open all the way. And then as you do temples, it opens up so much more. And I don't know, dude. It's the same formula that Metroid uses. It's the same formula that Castlevania Symphony of the Night uses and Hollow Knight. The Metroidvania formula is what Ocarina of Time uses. And it's I would call it not necessarily open zone, right? Which is what like Mario Odyssey is.
Sure.
Like an open, like where you go into the different sandboxes.
But
it's an incremental open world.
Right.
Yeah. Where as you reach a certain point, the walls come down and you have like a whole bunch of new stuff to do.
Which I was really hoping for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which it doesn't seem like that's the case.
No, it doesn't. Like I was so sad when I did the tutorial and I'm like, well, I have all the runes.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And I was really sad when I found the wingsuit.
Why?
Because remember I told you I thought it was gonna be Rock's cape.
Ah, that's right. Yep.
And I was holding out for items.
Kind of nerdy looking. Kind of.
It is a little nerdy looking, but
very useful. If you upgrade it, you get no fall damage as the passive buff. So
that's rad as hell.
Very useful. Don't sleep on that suit. But
that's sick.
But it's definitely not like the suit I'm gonna want to be wearing when I'm fighting guys. You know.
Honestly, the Zora armor has been clicking with me in this playthrough.
Nice, bro. Nice. Yeah.
I hated it in Breath of the Wild, but I don't know what it is.
I'm liking the Champion's Tunic. I don't know why, but this time around I
need to go grab it. Yeah. I think I know where it's at. Somebody told me.
Yeah.
Or not somebody in the game mentioned where. Oh no. It was I know. I was in Hateno Village.
Dude, wasn't that cool?
That was very, very cool.
Do you think Link and Zelda are like a thing, bro?
Dude, Yeah, like 1000%. Like
Dude,
how not? How
you,
not do you think that?
you think they're getting crunk, dude, at night?
They better be,
Bro.
my guy.
Is
Like
this the
this year's
first? Is this the first Zelda game where they're like an item?
canonly, yeah,
Yeah.
canonically.
I mean, I guess Skyward Sword's technically the first
Scared
one,
sword, yeah. But
but
like, dude, like I don't know, man.
it's just weird because usually Link doesn't end up with Zelda. Like
When
even
I
though
went
everyone
in
thinks
there,
that.
I was like, when I went in there, I was like, oh, like somebody moved into our house. I was
Yeah.
like, that sucks, you know. And
Dude,
then
but
it was like
yeah.
Zelda's diary, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I know, right?
whoa.
Yeah.
Like, do they understand what this implies?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's crazy, right? Because like this was Link's.
It's like, this is awesome.
But it's just weird because when I looked at the pictures in the house, I'm like, none of these pictures are of Link and Zelda, or like the champions.
Or
I'm
the
like,
champions, right? I thought
dude,
they would have the
yeah, I'd expect at least a picture of Barbosa. You know what I mean? But like,
You know what I thought? Once
what?
I saw that my horses carried over, I
What?
was like, bro, imagine if you go back to Link's house and all the things you had mounted were in there.
Dude, I wanted that to happen. I really wanted that to happen.
Cause that's some cool shit.
But like, what if that's the only way to get the elemental blades and stuff?
Right.
That'd be so cool.
Cause that's what everybody put in there.
Yeah.
It's like the light, you know.
Well, it's like I put up Ganon's sword. I made sure to put up.
Cool, the Seven Sage.
Yeah. So I was hoping to get that back, but I ended up getting it back through Amiibos, so it's fine.
Nice.
But dude, yeah. And then there's that girl outside the house who's like, I've been waiting for Zelda to come back every day, and she's like Zelda's biggest fan.
Oh, I didn't see her.
Dude, it's so cool. You can talk to her, and she's like, when Zelda gets back, I want to be the first one to greet her. And she's like,
cool.
it's so cool. Like you can tell that Zelda's had an impact on this town, and she like helped get that school built and everything. It's just cool, dude.
Yeah,
it's just cool stuff.
I do like the little like story building and like how everybody's like kind of built. Like that feels so much better than in Breath of the Wild, where like it feels like the people are actually like people, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of Zelda, I think, is like the towns and like interacting with people. And I think Tears of the Kingdom does that a lot better than
Yes.
Breath of the Wild.
So much more people. Like every stable has like side quests and
like cool ones too. Well,
yeah.
that's the ones that I've found like pretty fun.
Yeah.
And the wells, dude.
The wells, bro. The wells.
I love that. All of that.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. It's good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm glad we settled that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. And that's it. Yeah. Zelda's cool. But anyways, yeah. I'll see you around.
Bye.
Ocarina of Time's the best, dude. Best game.
SS.
Double, triple S.